Hello, everyone. I'm Allison Steinberg, and welcome to In Focus. Are you as tired of hearing about the border crisis as I am talking about it? There's no need to quote more stats on the numbers of how many and from where. We are under an invasion, and everyone knows it. Here's Democrat Senator John Fetterman speaking clearly on the issue.
There's a crisis at the border, and I don't know how anybody could pretend that there isn't.
Even Fetterman recognizes that the gaslighting is done. The only thing now to discuss and demand are solutions. And Americans gave the Republican Party the power to solve the problem. They're demanding the GOP use all of the tools at their disposal to do so. Last week, do something and shut it down were trending on X. Texas Representative Chip Roy circulated a letter urging his colleagues to use their power of the purse and hold up government funding legislation until Biden and Democrats agree to border security and asylum reforms included in H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act, which passed the House in May. He said, quote, "We must make funding for federal government operations contingent on the president signing H.R. 2 or its functional equivalent into law and stopping the flow across our border with demonstrable near-zero results," end quote. Senator Mike Lee joined in on X, posting, "I will not vote to fund the government until our border is secure." But despite a national crisis that the majority of Americans desperately want solved, combined with the power given the Republican House by the U.S. Constitution, Speaker Mike Johnson announced that there will be no government shutdown over the border. If stopping a conquest through a government-orchestrated invasion isn't a hill for the GOP to die on, then what is? Joining me now to discuss, representing Georgia's 1st Congressional District, is Congressman Earl Buddy Carter. Congressman, thank you so much for being with us today. It's great to see you.
Good to see you, Allison.
So there have been 21 federal shutdowns in the past 50 years, and the nation didn't die. Most of the essential government actually keeps operating, and furloughed employees end up paid for their time off. Now, with independent and social media, Americans see clearly what is happening and are demanding the border be secured. Given that the founders provided the power of the purse as a tool for accountability, why do you think it is the GOP won't use it here?
Well, first of all, nobody really likes a shutdown, particularly the GOP, particularly Republicans, because we often take the brunt of the blame for it, whether it be justified or not. But nevertheless, this is one instance where I think we are justified. I mean, look, we do have a crisis at the border. It's got to be addressed. And it's got to be addressed by more than just throwing money at it. It's got to be addressed by, yes, getting more funding to it, but it's got to secure that border. We've got to enforce the laws that are in place now, and we've got to have policy changes at the border. So instead of this democratic idea of just throw money at it, and oh, by the way, the more money you throw at it, the more you care, we've got to have policy changes, and we've got to have, most of all, enforcement of the existing laws. That's what it's going to take to secure this border and to end this crisis.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is crucial. It's astounding that it's not being done. But nevertheless, I mean, the left can't control the narrative anymore and blame a shutdown on Republicans unless they allow it. So why not be bold here and use the leverage afforded while continuing to beat the drum on the crisis?
Well, and as you know, we passed H.R. 2, which is the best border security bill out there. There's no question about it. And it calls for more funding. It calls for the wall to be built. It calls for more agents to be hired. And it has policy changes in it, substantive policy changes that will make a difference. And that's why we need to pass H.R. 2. And I would submit to you that there's a very serious movement right now within our conference to make sure that if we don't have changes at the border, that we're not going to have a budget.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think it's an issue that's more than easy to message about. Americans are getting killed by Bidenomics, and the left is not only bringing illegals here, but using our taxpayer dollars to provide entitlements, not just on housing and education, but now California is planning to use our money to pay for transgender surgeries. I mean, this is this is preposterous. What are your thoughts on this, Congressman?
One more of the many, many reasons I live in Georgia and not in California. this is ludicrous. In Georgia, we use our excess funds to decrease the gas tax so that we can give relief to our citizens. In California, they use it to pay for illegal immigrant sex change operations. This is ridiculous. This is another example of a totally out of control state like California is.
It is so far out of control to add more fuel to the fire on top of the free transgender surgeries for illegals. California also now apparently wants to make them cops. So criminals who committed breaking and entering coming here are now going to be given badges and guns and start patrolling American citizens. I mean, this is next level. How about a deportation forced instead? How is this even happening?
This is stuff you can't make up. I mean, you can't even make up this kind of stuff. It's unbelievable that they would even consider this. I mean, why would we hire anyone to enforce the law when they have broken the law? Makes no sense whatsoever.
It makes absolutely no sense indeed. Well, the left isn't really hiding it anymore. I mean, this is about overwhelming the system with new Democrat voters, I think, obviously, is a huge piece of all of this. I want to play a clip for you of AOC's recent remarks, and then we'll come back and get your reaction.
From all parts of the political spectrum, one of the biggest issues that we have when it comes to immigration is the fact that we have an undocumented population. Mm-hmm. Now, you can fix that by trying to build a wall, or you can fix that by trying to document people and create a path to citizenship.
So just make every illegal legal, and that solves the problem, right?
Yeah, there is a solution. She's right, and that is go back from where you came and come through the legal way, like so many people have done it. I don't know if you've ever been to a naturalization process before through the courts, but it is one of the greatest experiences that any American citizen can have to see people from other countries who have paid a lot of money and who have done a lot of work, a lot of study in order to become a naturalized citizen. These ceremonies are so patriotic and really reaffirm your belief in immigration, in legal immigration, and in America.
Absolutely. I mean, we are all for legal immigration. I think it's very commendable when someone wants to do it the right way and does the studying and everything that's required to go through that process. Unfortunately, if you're not, though, I mean, you're not welcome here. It's about as simple as that. So it really is just a slap in the face to everyone who has come here legally and taken the proper course of action. This is just so far out of control. Now, Congressman, I know you have a proposal that's co-sponsored by Andy Biggs called the Build Better Borders Act. Would you please tell us more about that?
Yeah, the Build Better Borders Act. Look, this all stems from what we're talking about, from the fact that we've got a border that is porous, that people are coming across, and don't think that there aren't some terrorists coming across there with the intention of hurting us. We are going to have an event in this country. That's why this legislation is so important, to make sure that we are building the wall, to make sure that we are giving our Border Patrol agents the tools that they need, the resources that they need in order to enforce the laws. All of this is extremely important. And we focus so much on illegal immigrants, as we should. However, let's not forget that one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, is the illegal drugs that are coming across that border, infesting our communities, the amount of fentanyl. We're losing 200 people every day in this country as a result of fentanyl poisoning, most of which is coming across that border. This madness has got to stop.
Yeah, it really has to. It's just a shame that it's been dragged out this long. I can't believe this is where we're at currently, but I pray that we can get some resolve here. Getting back to the idea of the government shutting down as a result of all this, another perspective related to a potential lapse in government funding or a shutdown is that so-called essential government functions will continue operating, as mentioned previously, and this includes, of course, the agents and officers at the Department of Homeland Security. So when the government and media complex signs in unison with the chorus that ceasing funding will curtail efforts at the border, would you say that's just an abject lie?
No, not at all. I think it's very important that we make a statement in the Republican Party, that we say, look, this has got to stop. Yeah. Yes, as you pointed out earlier in the interview, that we have the power of the purse, and we are supposed to exercise that power. That's the way our forefathers set this government up. That's why we should do just that. When you want to get an agency's attention, you get their money. That's what gets their attention. We want to get this administration's attention. We want to get the Democrats' attention. And America has got the attention that this is out of control. Both Democrats and Republicans agree that we've got to do something about our border. And yes, this is our tool in our tool chest to use, and that is the budget.
Yes, I can't think of a better opportunity to put that tool to use. It's a rarity when we can all come to an agreement on one thing, and I think that one thing is the border. So let's take action now and stop kicking the can down the road. Congressman, we're grateful for all the work that you do. Thank you so much for everything, and thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.